Hi, good morning. Today we are going to look at the topic on writing a strong introduction. Okay, as we all know, this is a common problem among all of us. We tend to stuck at the introduction part because we think that the topic is hard and we sometimes just don't know what to write in the introduction part. It is actually a really crucial part to attract people to keep on reading your essay. So, in short, if your introduction is bad, then it will most probably leave a bad impression on the reader, especially the one who's going to mark your essay in your SPM. So, today, inshallah, I'm going to guide you on how to write a proper introduction correctly. Alright, so let's move on to our first slide. Okay, first of all, I always tell my students if you receive or if you get a topic, what you need to do first is to think generally on the context of the topic. Okay, think of a general idea about the topic. So let's say the topic that you got is the problem of critical thinking skills among youth. Okay, so what is the keyword there? The easiest one that you could use. Okay, so the keyword in the topic is the word youth. But the problem will arise if you don't even know which keyword can help you, or you don't know the meaning of the keyword. That's going to be a problem too. But in this context, I believe that everybody knows what youth is. Okay, so if we think about youth, try to write something general about youth. You can choose either one that is the easiest to you, meaning that we can write in a few perspectives about youth. So among the options that you have is, first, you talk about the definition of youth itself, but make sure you know what youth is. Don't simply talk about youth but a wrong fact about youth. Okay, or you can talk about phenomenon or problem related to youth. What is example of problem related to youth? For example, youth nowadays are really problematic with their bad behavior, but that is not suitable for our topic, which is the critical thinking skill. So you have to know what to talk about in general. Okay, we don't want to go into specific, but we just touch generally. Okay, and the third option is to compare. Is to compare youth back then versus youth nowadays. Okay, we compare them generally, right? But to advise you, I think for the very first sentence, maybe we should put the definition of youth. Okay. All right. So moving on to next slide. So how do we put it? The first flow of general idea that we want to write just now. So look at this example of sentences that I put as the first flow of general idea. So, youth refers to the age group between 15 to 24 years old. This is the most popular age, as it is when you begin new things in life. It is said that youth nowadays do not really possess what youth back then used to. So, if you look at my short but not really short sentences, I go 3 sentences there. So if you look at all my sentences there, I combine the definition and some elaboration of of youth, and also I'm comparing youth nowadays do not possess what youth back then used to, but I don't go into specific, right? So it's a really general information. I don't go yet into the problem of having critical thinking skills. Okay, so that's it for our first three sentences. That is only our first flow. The introduction is not complete yet. Okay, so what's next? What's next? The next thing to do is to insert specific ideas related to the topic, in which just now I put in critical thinking skills among youth. Okay, so that is our specific ideas. So okay, so the three sentences just now I put in red color. So the specific one I put in green color. So let's look at what I wrote in green. Okay, the gap that these two generations have is the lack of critical thinking skills when it comes to the skill of life particularly. So I actually continue from the last sentence that I wrote, which is, it is said that youth nowadays do not really possess what youth back then used to. So I take opportunity from that red sentence to add to more specific idea and connect it with the topic, which is the lack of critical thinking skills. Okay, before we insert a question after that, you can actually address a short definition or general definition of what critical thinking skill is. Okay, or you may not address at all. It's up to you. But if you don't want to address that, you just maybe put some definition in the same sentence that I write in green. Okay, for example, the gap that these two generations have is the lack of critical skills. For example, when it comes to the skill of life particularly. Okay, full stop. After that, what to write? You can insert a question. For example, so what could be the reason behind all this? Okay, what is the reason behind the lack of critical thinking skills in our latest generation, in our youth nowadays compared to youth back then? Okay, compared to our parents' generation, maybe. So as you can see, my introduction grows by sentence. Okay, so the latest one we put in the purple or pink color. So what could be the reason behind all this? So after the sentence, what you need to do is to insert. Alright, so next is for us to insert the three main ideas that we want to address in our content paragraph. So as you know, as we already know, that usually you will write 3 content points, right, in your following paragraphs. So it is important for you to address that in a very last part of our introduction. Okay, so in this topic, which is the lack of critical skills among youth, obviously we would mention the reasons why does this happen. Okay, so the reasons will be the 3 reasons, the 3 main ideas that we will put in our following paragraphs. So the 3 reasons that I want to put is, first reason is the interference of technology. Okay, that means the technology interferes with your life, which causes you to rely on the technology so much that that you like you don't have that critical thinking skill. For example, you keep relying on Google for everything. Okay, you don't quite use your brain, you don't give time for your brain to process anything. Okay, and second reason why this happened, because of lack of informal education at home. So when we say lack of informal education at home, we're talking about busy parents, because parents are supposed to give you the informal education because you have a formal education at school, but you don't when at home, when you're supposed to get that kind of informal education. It's the fault of busy parents, because they don't have time to educate you. They don't have time to sit down and talk and discuss with you things around the world. Or it could be because of you yourself is too busy with the gadget at home, so you don't quite like spend time to talk with your parents and get all the information, education. Okay, so that's our second point. And the very last reason that we would want to use is the lack of social skills. This one, lack of social skills means you don't know how to socialize with other people because you have so many things to go after, because this 21st century life is quite hectic. You're very busy and you just don't have time to learn social skills because you're busy with examination or whatever. So yeah, it's because of today's world. Okay, but that we put aside first. I'm just telling you so that you know why we're using these points. Okay, so our last sentences would be inserting these three main ideas. Okay, but then the problem is you don't know, okay teacher, I don't know how to write the three reasons in one sentence. Okay, so this is the template that I want to give you. I always use this in my essay. Okay, please use this. You can use this and please remember the template, right? So look at the color in blue. This essay will explore three reasons on the problem of critical thinking skills among youth, which are the interference of technology, lack of informal education at home, and lack of social skills. That's it. Okay, but how, teacher? I don't like this sentence. How to change it? Alright, there are still ways to do it. For example, one way is you say, okay, there are three reasons on the problem of critical thinking skills among youth, which are blah 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 blah. Okay, it's actually very simple, but you tend to limit your thinking, so you don't know what to write. You're stuck at your introduction. So if we look back at all the sentences in our introduction, it is part by part, right? The one in the red is the general part. The green the green part is where we go into specific of the topic, and the pink one is we insert a question, and lastly we insert the three main ideas that we want to put in our following paragraphs. So I really hope that you have understood the part by part and use it in every time at every time when you want to construct an essay. Okay, now your introduction is complete. There's a task for you. Okay, write an introductory paragraph for the following topics by highlighting particular sentences showing the structure. So since I have taught you about the structures just now, general, specific, question, and the reasons or main ideas to be used in content paragraphs, so I would like you to do the same. You put some colors to make it different, but since you're going to write using pen, so let's just highlight, or if you are using computer, you can put some colors, different colors to your part by part. Okay, and the task is topic number 1. Write an introduction on how to improve Malaysian education. Remember which one is the keyword, which one is the word that you can make it general. Okay, in topic number 1, I don't know, you guess, because we have learned just now. Okay, topic number 2 is please write introduction on early versus late marriage. So I can clearly see which one is the keyword there. I hope you can clearly see it too. So just write 2 introductions of these 2 topics by highlighting with color, and please make sure that it is interesting and it looks complete and it doesn't look like it's incomplete or whatever. Okay, I hope this short video will help you out somehow. Okay, so please send the task by today's class, hopefully. Right, okay, see ya.